Oh, oh, damn!
What's up, space pirates? This is your Admiral, the hilariously heinous Dr. Disaster, and in the wake of leaks coming out a few months ago suggesting that Xbox consoles were done, Microsoft has gone out of their way to assure everyone that this is not the case. And I have a question in response to that.
Why not, you stupid bastard?
At a certain point, you would think that they would understand at Xbox that it's really important to understand that they are beaten. They need to understand when to wave the white flag and just give up. Xbox is almost certainly at that point. They've dumped tens of billions of dollars into acquiring the likes of Activision Blizzard, Bethesda, and more, and it simply isn't paying off fast enough to the point that Xbox was essentially forced into making a pretty rash decision.
I just had an idea.
They decided to drop the console exclusivity on their games and release titles like Outer Worlds 2 and Gears of War Reloaded onto PS5 and PC on day one. Sure, this almost certainly helped their bottom line in the immediate, generating a shit ton of cash with customers that they otherwise would not have gotten, but the problem is that without console exclusivity, gamers look at their hardware and say,
I don't care.
Shit, I don't care either.
well, all of these shitty business decisions that Xbox has made have come to a head and resulted in an absolute embarrassment, a shame that ought to be really hard for them to live down. On Black Friday weekend, just a couple weeks ago here, they were apparently outsold, not just by Nintendo, not just by PlayStation, which would have been totally normal and not at all unusual, but they got their asses kicked by a new player on the market, which pretty much nobody has ever heard of. You heard that right, folks. Things have gotten so bad for Xbox that they are now being outsold by a console that nobody knows anything about. So once again, let's circle around to those rumors from a few months back which suggested that Xbox was getting out of the console biz. Apparently Xbox thought it was a good idea to try to refute those claims, and the response on everyone's mind at this point has to be,
why would you think that? Why would you even think that?
Alright, me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. A lot of people have told me that they have been unwillingly unsubscribed to the channel, so make sure you are still subbed. Ever since I started mentioning this in my videos, I've had loads of people tell me that they found that this had happened to them. If you've heard me say this before, well, this section of my videos will be skippable from now on by being turned into a chapter on the video timeline. But I do have to keep mentioning this because I don't know why this crap happens, but it does happen an awful lot. Anyways, let's dive on into the news that Xbox got beaten by a console that nobody knows anything about. A bit of context that it is important to remember here is the fact that Xbox has been getting its butt kicked for years now. They have been trailing behind Nintendo and PlayStation this entire generation and the generation before. People simply have not been buying Xbox consoles for a while now. And to make matters even worse, they have raised the prices on their systems multiple times this year. A digital Series X is now $600, a disk drive version is $650, and a 2TB Galaxy Black Edition is all the way up to $800 freaking dollars. Their games have all gone up in price as well. Their controllers and other accessories have skyrocketed. Even Game Pass had its prices raised. I'm not sure what this business tactic is all about, but they are, of course, blaming tariffs over at Xbox. But an American company who chooses to manufacture their goods in China in order to take advantage of the slave wages that they can get over there is not going to get any sympathy from me when tariffs hit them and they have to raise their prices. This is a company which lectures gamers on shit like this. Oh, we can't have any curvy female characters in video games because the feminists don't like that. And we want to pander to the progressives out there and to be seen as good people. Look, everyone, we here at Xbox are good people because we go along with these shit-lib narratives. Meanwhile, like I said, they manufacture their consoles in China, and they do that because the people who manufacture their consoles over there in China are basically forced to work for nothing. I don't feel the least bit bad for Xbox on this. As far as I'm concerned, being forced to raise their prices on a product that people were already not particularly interested in is hilarious to me. All that money that they've thrown around, and there's no innovation at the company to lure customers in, and there's no fun any longer. They don't make games for fun. They just lean on brand recognition these days and hope people buy their crap because of nostalgia. Well, needless to say, that shit ain't working anymore. Let's read this article here from Video Games Chronicle, which I will link in the description. It says here, Xbox hardware was outsold by a little-known Kinect-style console during Black Friday in the US, coming forth. That's according to Circana data shared on social media, which suggests that the family console Next Playground took 14% of the market for the week ended November 29th. As in the UK, PlayStation 5 dominated Black Friday week hardware sales, accounting for 47%, which was likely driven by discounts. Nintendo Switch 2 ranked second with 24%, meaning Xbox took less than 14%. Next Playground is an Android-powered console launched in 2023, which features a motion camera similar to Microsoft's Axed Sensor Kinect. The console features family games such as Fruit Ninja and retails for $250, but is regularly discounted to under $200. The Playground has been quietly growing in popularity in the US market and even briefly outsold PlayStation 5 in the week before Black Friday, ended November 22nd. And then, down here in the article, they feature a post on X from Christopher Dring, the founder of The Game Business. He was responding to another post from a podcaster who wrote, according to Circana and GSF retail data, Xbox's Black Friday performance makes it clear that consumers have largely moved away from the platform. The numbers show that Xbox hardware simply isn't a factor in the current market. And then Dring responded to that by saying, although that may be true, it's worth noting that Xbox was not competitive with its pricing over Black Friday, and it seems like there isn't a huge amount of stock in circulation, so it's as much to do with Xbox's ambition with its consoles as it is with consumer demand. And here's the thing, I do believe that Xbox has basically just given up on selling their consoles. I don't think they care very much about the hardware business right now. I think the mentality is that if they sell a few units, then great, that's cool, but whatever. In the meantime, what they really are concerning themselves with is generating money faster to recoup the tens of billions of dollars that they spent on all the studios that they have bought up. My guess is that they projected that Game Pass was going to take off a lot faster than it did. They were under the impression that with titles like Call of Duty under their umbrella, that gamers would not be able to say no to Game Pass. But the growth on that platform has stagnated, and what they don't understand is that their whole brand has just fallen off in the eyes of a lot of people. A lot of folks have been turned off by the likes of modern Halo and modern Gears of War. They've gone out of their way as a company to ensure that games that they make these days just aren't any fun any longer. In fact, I believe there's a perception among gamers that Xbox as a company stands as the tip of the spear fighting against fun. Look at the headline of this old article again. Can you imagine Xbox saying this type of shit 20 years ago? Of course they wouldn't. They were the pinnacle of fun back then, but they have been co-opted by people whose priority is not fun. It's pushing messaging and thinking that all will be okay because the numbers on the spreadsheet told them that it would be. Well, unfortunately for these executives, numbers on a spreadsheet do not play games. I'm sure that the numbers on the spreadsheet also told these same people that Black Ops 7 was going to sell extremely well because it had Call of Duty Black Ops in the title. But the nostalgia is wearing off. In fact, you've got games like Fable coming out next year, supposedly, where the main character is purposefully made into a hideous-looking woman, all in the name of pandering to screeching harpy feminists. And with games like that being promoted, it just isn't hard to see why gamers started walking away from this company. Sure, they still have their diehards, but they certainly aren't growing, which is why they got their asses kicked by a system that nobody has ever heard of before on Black Friday. And it's why I suspect that there is some truth behind the rumors that Xbox is leaving the hardware business behind. We can all see that their fighting spirit is just kinda gone. They just need to make it official and tell us that they are quitting on their hardware. But I'm gonna leave it there. Xbox just got embarrassed on Black Friday. Drop your mockery of this company into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.